Imagine stepping away from the chaos of daily life, disappearing not in a literal sense, but retreating into a space where you can truly observe, reflect, and recalibrate. The Stoics believed in the power of solitude, not as an escape from life, but as a means to return stronger, wiser, and more in control. Disappearing for a time, withdrawing from the noise, offers a unique opportunity to understand and master oneself. This process is not about physical isolation, but about creating mental and emotional distance from the distractions and influences that cloud judgment and erode inner peace. By temporarily removing yourself from the relentless demands of the world, you create a space where you can reconnect with your core values and priorities. This retreat allows you to see your life more clearly, to understand the motivations driving your actions, and to realign your goals with your true self. The Stoic practice of periodic retreat is a powerful tool for self-mastery, offering a renewed perspective on life, and equipping you with the strength to face challenges with calm and resolve. 1. The transformative power of retreat. Understanding the need for disappearing. In the fast-paced, hyper-connected world we live in, the notion of disappearing can seem radical, perhaps even frightening. Yet, for the Stoics, this concept is not about physical vanishing, but rather about an intentional withdrawal from the constant demands and distractions that life imposes. The act of retreating, of disappearing from the noise, is akin to stepping into a sanctuary where the mind can rest, reflect, and rejuvenate. This disappearance is not a form of escape. Instead, it is a deliberate move to create a space where you can reconnect with your inner self. In modern life, our attention is relentlessly pulled in countless directions: work obligations, social media, news cycles, and personal relationships, all competing for our mental and emotional energy. This constant barrage leaves little room for introspection, for truly understanding who we are and what we value. By choosing to disappear, you give yourself the rare opportunity to step out of this whirlwind, to create a sacred space where the only voice that matters is your own. This retreat is the first step towards mastering oneself. It is an acknowledgement that true understanding, wisdom, and control cannot be achieved amidst chaos, but require a quiet, reflective environment where the mind can operate without external interference. The Stoics believed that in this space of solitude, you could begin the work of stripping away the layers of societal expectations, fears, and desires that cloud your true self. Here, you start to see your life from a higher vantage point, understanding the motivations that drive you, the beliefs that shape you, and the external influences that sway you. This understanding is the foundation upon which self-mastery is built. Without this retreat, you risk becoming a passive participant in your own life, driven by forces you do not fully comprehend. By disappearing, you take the first step towards reclaiming control, towards becoming the architect of your own existence. 2. Deepening self-awareness. The first step towards mastery. Self-awareness is often touted as the cornerstone of personal growth, but in the hustle and bustle of daily life, how often do we truly understand what it means? The Stoics placed immense value on the concept of knowing oneself, an idea that goes far beyond superficial introspection. True self-awareness involves a deep, honest, and sometimes uncomfortable exploration of your inner world. It requires you to face your thoughts, emotions, and desires head-on, without the distractions that typically allow you to avoid such confrontation. This level of self-awareness cannot be achieved in the midst of everyday life, where external influences constantly shape and distort your perceptions. It is in the act of disappearing, of stepping away from these influences, that you create the space necessary for this profound introspection. When you disappear, you remove the external pressures that dictate how you should think, feel, and behave. You are left alone with your thoughts, forced to confront them without the usual distractions. This can be an uncomfortable experience. After all, it is much easier to lose oneself in the noise of the world than to sit quietly with one's thoughts. But it is precisely this discomfort that leads to growth. In this solitude, you begin to peel back the layers of your psyche, uncovering the fears, desires, and motivations that drive you. You start to see the patterns in your behavior, the triggers that spark certain emotions, and the beliefs that guide your decisions. This level of self-awareness is transformative. It allows you to understand not just what you do, but why you do it. You begin to see how your past experiences, societal expectations, and personal insecurities have shaped your worldview. With this understanding, you can start to challenge these influences, to question whether they truly align with your values and goals. You can begin to make conscious choices, rather than being driven by unconscious impulses. This self-awareness is the first step towards mastering yourself. It is the foundation upon which all other forms of personal growth are built. Without it, you cannot hope to change, to grow, or to achieve true self-mastery. But with it, you gain the power to transform your life, to become the person you truly want to be, rather than the person you have been conditioned to be. 3. Cultivating inner peace, the calm at the center of the storm. Inner peace is a concept that often feels elusive, particularly in a world that seems designed to keep us in a state of constant agitation. The Stoics, however, believed that true peace comes not from the absence of external conflict, but from within, from the ability to remain calm and composed regardless of the circumstances. This inner peace is not something that can be found in the noise of daily life. It must be cultivated in solitude, in the quiet spaces where you can connect with your inner self. Disappearing, in this context, is an essential practice for those seeking to master themselves. When you step away from the world, you create a space where you can focus on developing this inner calm. In solitude, you are no longer bombarded by the stimuli that typically disturb your mind, the demands of work, the expectations of others, the constant stream of information that assaults your senses. Instead, you are free to focus on your inner state, to observe the fluctuations of your mind without judgment or reaction. This observation is the first step towards cultivating inner peace. The Stoics taught that much of our distress comes not from the events themselves, but from our judgments about those events. When you disappear, you have the opportunity to see these judgments for what they are, mere thoughts, not truths. You can begin to detach from these thoughts, to let go of the need to control or change what is happening around you, and to accept things as they are. This acceptance is a key component of inner peace. It does not mean resignation or passivity, but rather a calm acknowledgement of reality as it is, without the turmoil of resistance. In this state of acceptance, you find a deep sense of calm, a stillness that is not disturbed by external events. This inner peace is essential for mastering oneself. It allows you to navigate life with grace and composure, to respond to challenges with wisdom rather than emotion, and to maintain your equilibrium even in the face of adversity. It is the calm at the center of the storm, the eye of the hurricane that remains undisturbed while everything around it is in chaos. By disappearing, you give yourself the space to cultivate this peace, to develop the inner strength that allows you to remain steady and composed, no matter what life throws your way. 4. Gaining perspective, seeing life through a Stoic lens. Perspective is everything. The way we view our lives, our challenges, and our experiences can fundamentally alter how we live and how we respond to the world around us. The Stoics understood this deeply and taught that much of our suffering comes not from external events, but from the way we perceive and interpret those events. Disappearing, in this context, is a powerful tool for gaining perspective, a way to step back and see your life through a clearer, more rational lens. When you are constantly immersed in the demands of daily life, it can be difficult to see the bigger picture. You become so caught up in the minutiae of your day-to-day existence that you lose sight of what truly matters. Every setback feels monumental, every challenge insurmountable, because you are too close to the situation to see it for what it really is. By disappearing, by stepping away from the hustle and bustle of life, you give yourself the distance you need to gain perspective. In this space of solitude, you can begin to see your problems in a different light. You start to understand that most of the things that cause you stress and anxiety are, in the grand scheme of things, insignificant. You realize that many of the challenges you face are temporary, that they will pass with time, and that they do not define you or your life. This realization is incredibly liberating. It allows you to let go of the things that do not truly matter, to focus on what is within your control, and to accept what is not. The Stoics taught that one of the most important skills you can develop is the ability to distinguish between what you can control and what you cannot. When you gain perspective, you begin to see this distinction more clearly. You start to understand that your peace of mind is not dependent on external circumstances, but on your internal state. This shift in perspective is a powerful tool for mastering yourself. It allows you to approach life with a sense of calm and equanimity, to navigate challenges with wisdom and grace, and to live a life that is guided by reason rather than emotion. By disappearing, you give yourself the space to gain this perspective, to see your life through a Stoic lens, and to return to the world with a renewed sense of purpose and clarity. 5. Strengthening willpower, the quiet forge of inner discipline. Willpower is often portrayed as a force of sheer determination, the ability to push through obstacles and resist temptations through sheer force of will. However, the Stoics had a more nuanced understanding of willpower, one that emphasized not just the ability to resist, but the wisdom to know what to resist and when to do so. Disappearing, in this sense, is a powerful practice for strengthening your willpower, not through force but through understanding and discipline. When you retreat from the world, you create a space where you can focus on your inner discipline, on developing the willpower that allows you to govern your actions and emotions with wisdom rather than impulse. In solitude, you are faced with yourself, with your thoughts and emotions, without the distractions that typically allow you to avoid confronting them. This confrontation is not easy. It requires a level of honesty and self-discipline that many of us are not accustomed to. But it is precisely this challenge that makes disappearing such a powerful tool for personal growth. In this quiet space, you begin to see the patterns in your behavior, the impulses that drive your actions, and the desires that pull you off course. You start to understand how often you are driven by unconscious habits rather than conscious choices, how often you react out of fear or desire rather than reason. This understanding is the first step towards strengthening your willpower. The Stoics taught that true willpower is not about resisting everything that tempts you, but about aligning your actions with your principles and values. It is about making choices that are guided by reason, rather than by impulse or emotion. When you disappear, you give yourself the space to practice this discipline. You learn to resist the pull of distractions, to overcome the temptation to seek comfort in external things, and to focus on what truly matters. This strengthening of willpower is essential for mastering oneself. It allows you to remain steadfast in your commitments, to pursue your goals with determination, and to live a life of integrity. By disappearing, you forge your willpower in the quiet of solitude, returning to the world with the strength and discipline to live a life that is true to yourself and your values. 6. Building resilience, the Stoic armor against life's challenges. Resilience is a quality that is often admired but rarely understood in its true depth. It is not simply the ability to bounce back from adversity, but the strength to endure challenges with grace and to grow stronger in the process. The Stoics viewed resilience as a key component of a fulfilled life, a trait that allows you to navigate the ups and downs of existence without losing your sense of purpose or peace. Disappearing, in this context, is a vital practice for building resilience. When you retreat from the world, you create a space where you can focus on developing this inner strength, on preparing yourself for the inevitable challenges that life will throw your way. In solitude, you are free from the pressures and demands that typically test your resilience, giving you the opportunity to build this strength from within. The Stoics believed that resilience is not about avoiding difficulties, but about facing them with courage and determination. When you disappear, you give yourself the space to cultivate this courage, to strengthen your resolve, and to develop the mental and emotional fortitude that allows you to withstand life's challenges. In solitude, you can reflect on past experiences, on the hardships you have faced and overcome, and on the lessons you have learned. This reflection is crucial for building resilience. It allows you to see how you have grown stronger through adversity, how you have developed the skills and qualities that allow you to navigate life's challenges with greater ease. This understanding is the foundation of resilience. It gives you the confidence to face future challenges, knowing that you have the strength to endure them and the wisdom to learn from them. Resilience is not just about surviving, but about thriving in the face of adversity. By disappearing, you give yourself the space to build this resilience, to develop the inner strength that allows you to remain strong and steady, even in the face of life's storms. This resilience is essential for mastering oneself, for living a life that is guided by purpose and meaning, rather than being swayed by the ups and downs of existence. 7. Reconnecting with your values, realigning your life's compass. In the chaos of daily life, it can be easy to lose sight of your values, to become disconnected from the principles that guide you. The demands of work, the expectations of others, and the constant stream of information can pull you in so many different directions that you forget what truly matters to you. The Stoics believed that living in accordance with your values is essential for a meaningful and fulfilling life. Disappearing, in this sense, is a powerful practice for reconnecting with your values, for realigning your life with your principles. When you retreat from the world, you create a space where you can reflect on what is truly important to you, on the values that guide your decisions and actions. In solitude, you are free from the external influences that often shape your choices, giving you the opportunity to reconnect with your true self. This reconnection is essential for mastering yourself. It allows you to ensure that your actions are in alignment with your values, that you are living a life that is true to yourself and your principles. The Stoics taught that living in accordance with your values is the key to a fulfilled life. When you disappear, you give yourself the space to reflect on these values, to remember what is important to you, and to realign your life with these principles. This reflection is crucial for living a life of integrity. It allows you to see where you have strayed from your values, where you have made choices that are not in alignment with your principles, and to make the necessary changes to realign your life with your true self. This realignment is not always easy. It requires a level of honesty and self-discipline that many of us are not accustomed to. But it is essential for living a life that is meaningful and fulfilling. By disappearing, you give yourself the space to reconnect with your values, to ensure that your actions are in alignment with them, and to live a life that is guided by purpose and meaning. This reconnection with your values is a powerful tool for self-mastery. It allows you to make decisions that are true to yourself, to live a life that is consistent with your principles, and to find fulfillment in the pursuit of your goals. 8. Developing self-control, the Stoic path to freedom. Self-control is often misunderstood as mere willpower, as the ability to resist temptation or to deny oneself pleasures. But for the Stoics, self-control was something much deeper. It was about governing one's actions and emotions with reason and wisdom. It was about achieving true freedom, the freedom that comes from being the master of oneself. Disappearing, in this context, is an essential practice for developing this self-control. When you retreat from the world, you create a space where you can focus on cultivating this inner discipline, on developing the self-control that allows you to govern your actions and emotions with wisdom rather than impulse. In solitude, you are faced with your thoughts, emotions, and desires, without the distractions that typically allow you to avoid confronting them. This confrontation is not easy. It requires a level of honesty and self-discipline that many of us are not accustomed to. But it is precisely this challenge that makes disappearing such a powerful tool for personal growth. In this quiet space, you begin to see the patterns in your behavior, the impulses that drive your actions, and the desires that pull you off course. You start to understand how often you are driven by unconscious habits rather than conscious choices, how often you react out of fear or desire rather than reason. This understanding is the first step towards developing self-control. The Stoics taught that true self-control is not about resisting everything that tempts you, but about aligning your actions with your principles and values. It is about making choices that are guided by reason, rather than by impulse or emotion. When you disappear, you give yourself the space to practice this discipline. You learn to control your impulses, to resist the temptation to act on fleeting emotions, and to make decisions that are guided by reason. This development of self-control is essential for mastering oneself. It allows you to navigate life with greater wisdom and clarity, to make choices that are in alignment with your values, and to live a life of purpose and integrity. By disappearing, you forge your self-control in the quiet of solitude, returning to the world with the strength and discipline to live a life that is true to yourself and your values. 9. Cultivating gratitude, the Stoic key to contentment. Gratitude is a quality that is often overlooked in our pursuit of happiness and success, yet it is one of the most powerful tools for achieving true contentment. The Stoics understood this deeply and taught that gratitude is not just a reaction to positive events, but a state of mind that can be cultivated and practiced. Disappearing, in this context, is a powerful practice for cultivating gratitude, for developing the ability to find contentment in the present moment, regardless of external circumstances. When you retreat from the world, you create a space where you can focus on cultivating this gratitude, on appreciating the simple pleasures and blessings in your life. In solitude, you are free from the distractions and pressures that often cause you to focus on what is lacking, rather than on what you have. This focus on lack is a major source of discontentment, leading to a constant sense of striving and dissatisfaction. By disappearing, you give yourself the space to shift your focus, to recognize the blessings in your life, and to appreciate the beauty and goodness that often go unnoticed. This practice of gratitude is essential for mastering oneself. It allows you to find contentment in the present moment, to appreciate the simple pleasures of life, and to live with a sense of abundance and fulfillment. The Stoics taught that true happiness is not found in external things, but in the ability to appreciate what you have and to live in harmony with your values. When you disappear, you give yourself the space to cultivate this gratitude, to develop the ability to find contentment in the present moment, regardless of external circumstances. This cultivation of gratitude is a powerful tool for self-mastery. It allows you to focus on what truly matters, to appreciate the blessings in your life, and to live with a sense of abundance and fulfillment. By disappearing, you give yourself the space to cultivate this gratitude, to develop the ability to find contentment in the present moment, and to return to the world with a renewed sense of purpose and joy. 10. Returning as a master of oneself, the Stoic journey to fulfillment. The ultimate goal of disappearing, of retreating from the world and immersing oneself in solitude, is to return as a master of oneself. The Stoics believed that true mastery is not about controlling others or accumulating external success, but about gaining control over oneself, over one's thoughts, emotions, and actions. This mastery is the key to a fulfilled and meaningful life, a life that is guided by reason, integrity, and purpose. When you disappear, you create the space to cultivate the qualities that are essential for this mastery: self-awareness, inner peace, perspective, willpower, resilience, self-control, and gratitude. Each of these qualities is a step on the path to self-mastery, a brick in the foundation of a life that is guided by wisdom and virtue. By disappearing, you give yourself the time and space to develop these qualities, to reflect on your life and your values, and to make the necessary changes to align your actions with your principles. This process is not easy. It requires a level of discipline, honesty, and courage that many of us are not accustomed to. But it is precisely this challenge that makes the journey so rewarding. When you return to the world, you do so as a master of yourself, stronger, wiser, and more in control of your life. This mastery is not about perfection, but about progress. It is about the continuous journey of self-improvement, of striving to live a life that is true to your values and guided by reason. It is about the ability to navigate life's challenges with grace and composure, to find peace in the midst of chaos, and to live a life of purpose and meaning. By disappearing, you give yourself the space to embark on this journey, to develop the qualities that are essential for self-mastery, and to return to the world as a master of yourself, ready to live a life that is guided by wisdom and virtue.